What up, everybody? It's the Build Different podcast. A little hoarse, but I'm trying to bring the energy today. First podcast of 2025. Sean, how you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Um, Happy to be around for another year, and yeah, I think there's lots to look forward to in the new year. How about you?
Yeah, no, 100%. This is kind of my favorite episode to do every year. And again, we're probably transitioning and, more day in the life type stuff. But I always enjoy these episodes because it's like you're kind of putting your vision out for the year. You know what I mean? What you want to accomplish, what you want to do, how you want to exist. I always love New Year's Eve and New Year's Day is kind of like that turning point for like maybe you didn't have a good year before, past couple years weren't great, but it's a beginning of a new year, a new start. It's a reboot. You know what I mean? So that being said, like I know we both kind of talk off camera a lot, or we have a lot of phone calls where we talk about like things that we got going on in life. So kind of want to start with you personally, like do you have anything, and I hate using the term resolution because resolutions can be broken, and I look at it more as like changes, lifestyle changes, growth. Anything that you want to do in 2025 on all of those different levels, personal growth, things you want to change, things you want to get better at.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to be, I think, kind of like the best version of myself. I think
Yeah.
that's super general, and
Hmm.
it's kind of indescript, but just being a good friend, a good son, a good brother, um, you know, everything like that. Um, Being able to create a better work-life balance would be nice. And yeah, just kind of also becoming a little bit more independent, I would say, is one of my goals for 2025.
Okay.
In general, I would say I'm a very dependent person. I rely on the people close to me for, you know, everything from personal stuff to professional stuff. I'm very, very reliant on my inner circle. But finding ways to become more independent, to whether that's financially or just like emotionally too.
Yeah.
Being able to handle whatever life throws at me throughout the year and do it in a way that I don't rely on, other people as kind of a crutch to to do that. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of like the gist. And obviously, I have other, resolutions or goals for 2025 personally. I'd like to lose a little bit of weight. Just get to the point where I feel like I'm in better shape. I feel like I've already started eating a little bit better.
Yeah.
Um, which is always, a tough one, but just kind of uh making sure to be active. I work at a job where I'm sitting at a desk a lot of the time, so even with that, finding ways to get outside, preferably when it's not snow on the ground. But um, yeah, I think that's kind of all of my kind of like
Oh,
tasks for this year for myself is just kind of becoming a better version of myself at the end of the day. What about you?
what I was gonna
Oh,
ask you, what about do you have any disc golf related things you want to get done this year?
yeah. I mean, obviously, as a competitor and someone who's very competitive, I want to win more. Um,
Yeah.
I have some like some money that can be used towards like tournament entries. So, doing a few more like disc golf related uh trips, like not necessarily a vacation, but like going out to like the amateur worlds this year. That's a big one. It's out in like Missouri.
Okay.
Um, so competing with that, because that, I do well when I compete at local tournaments, against other people of my skill level. But at the end of the day, if I want to kind of move up and prove that I'm, the best, it's like you got to compete with the best at a national or international level. So
Hmm.
competing in something like amateur world championships a way to kind of put myself in that position. And um, I'd like to be able to throw farther and make more putts and everything like that. But at the end of the day, it's, just go out there and hopefully I can, make some changes to my form and stuff this year that'll allow me to kind of compete at that higher level. And by the end of the year, I'm hoping to kind of move up to the professional level. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm going to start, being a professional disc golfer and touring or anything like that, but just competing in the pro division of, you know, local tournaments and things like that. So I put together a schedule for the year, and there's a lot of like bigger tournaments that I want to play, and playing at some very high quality courses, and yeah, just challenging myself to constantly get better and improve and compete with tougher competition, I guess is, you know, the goal for this year.
Yeah, and no, I'm excited to see. I really want to see you get to the professional level, and I'm shoot, I'd love to see you touring. I mean, that would be dope. Like to follow the journey, you know what I mean? And again, congratulations as well, getting sponsored again this year. And I guess you're one of your captains on for your sponsor.
Yeah, yeah, captain for the team elevation, and also a captain for my team challenge team in New Jersey team challenge. So I don't know. People just keep wanting me to be leaders, which I guess is great. I like that. I like being able to, have an influence on things. So I obviously appreciate it very much. So yeah, hopefully I can continue to have success in both of those, and uh yeah, and just kind of see where that takes me.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see that. Yeah, and your team and everything. Everybody follow Sean on Sean and his team on social media. We'll post some links in the chat. So
And what about you? What are some of your personal goals for the year?
I think it's I mean the broad umbrella is the same as what you're saying. Just being the best version of myself. I was kind of been I'm always reflecting on life, reflecting on um where we're at and everything. I think when I went to the game on Sunday, I had a real good talk with Ron, and we kind of just sat down and talked about where we want to be in 2025. And like you said, it boils down to being the best version of yourself. We talk about that all the time ad nauseum about our technology and doing that. But yeah, it's on a personal level, number one, better relationship with God. I think a lot of things that happened last year, family losing family members and things like that. It's kind of like really enjoy your family and your friends while you're while we're all around. You know what I mean? Anything can happen, and when somebody goes, it's kind of like, damn, I didn't get to spend the time I wanted to with that person, or man, I remember that time I neglected to be there for them, or whatever. So really enjoying the time with your family, your friends, being present. It's kind of like I think it was Adrian back in the day that told me about the book "Be Where Your Feet Are." I think the title was, but just being very present in the moment that you're sharing with people. I think what ties to that is gratitude, just being grateful for what we have, and me practicing more gratitude, being thankful for my health, for family's health. What else? Me and Ron were talking about it as well. Is like when say for instance something bad happens and you're like, oh my god, like we complain and we gripe about our normal days, like, oh, this Sunday's so boring, oh, I gotta cut the lawn, or you know what I mean. But when something bad happens, or like you get thrown off or something like that through a situation, you kind of like, damn, I wish I had a normal day again, you know what I mean? The days I complain about, I wish I had those. So just being grateful, being mindful. Those are my top ones. I really want to develop a routine. Like I need a pattern. I need to, getting up at the same time, same routine, prayer, meditation, reading the Bible, exercising, going to bed at the same time. I really want to build that into my repertoire. Just doing those same things every day. Just being very prepared every day, early and often, and um, just my appearance overall. Like I used to dress better. I used to look better, feel better, haircut all the time. Really need to look good, feel good. You know what I mean? It's like I've kind of let that go. Just body's God's temple. Body's, people first appearance. You know what I mean? It's just looking good and feeling good, exercising and feeling well dressed, feeling good. I'm not talking about. I'm not one of these Gucci, types, and I'm not damn not sure not carrying no man purse or anything like that. But just looking good. You know what I mean? Um, I definitely want, like I said, the exercise thing. I always, for years, ever since before 2020 COVID and all that, I was consistent with the gym and it felt great. You know what I mean? I need to get back into it, be consistent. I used to have a no excuse mentality when it came to the gym where I would just, hey, it's a Saturday, I'm hitting the beach or, family stuff going on. I'm still going to the gym at some point. No excuses, just do it. You know what I mean? There was times I would go twice a day. Back in the UCF days, I used to work, go to the gym, work, go back to the gym again at times. You know what I mean? It was just dedication, and it felt great. But getting myself there, um, physical and mental health, I think that ties into the exercising. But I kind of like let myself go a little bit from the like taking care of myself, monitoring my health, monitoring my mental health, and things like that. You can't be the best version of yourself if your physical and mental health aren't there. Writing down goals, journaling, personal growth, reading more. Always, admire people that certain people I watch, certain people speaking, the way they speak, the knowledge that they have, and a lot of that comes through reading and just educating ourselves. Um, Definitely getting rid of content wise, like I'm getting always talk about dopamine and getting your dopamine hits from like accomplishments, from good content, from enriching yourself and the lives of others. I really need to get my dopamine from that instead of negative, because I'm not the social media type to go on and watch stupid things, but I'm a sports junkie, you know what I mean? So negative sports stories about teams and players I don't like, if that pops up, I'm like, oh, I gotta hurry up and click on this video and watch this video and watch all the way through. And it makes, it makes you feel a certain type of way, you know what I mean? Like it like it's kind of like people with politics, and they keep watching more and more news and more political things about the other side, and it makes them feel a certain type of way, and they go throughout their day angry and talking about, oh, these people already, you know what I mean? Whatever we consume, it's who we are. Like you go through your list on YouTube, or I don't know if TikTok's algorithm works the same way because I don't do TikTok, but like whatever you watch, you're gonna get more and more of it, and
It
you know,
does.
yeah, I figured it would. I figured it would. Um, so, well, Trump is talking about bringing it back, or like not shutting it down or whatever. So, you might have some more TikTok in 2025. But yeah, just consuming content that helps me, that enriches me, that not focusing on negative stories or negative aspects of the world, and just being a better person overall. I think one big thing too, and I thought about this the other day. I think about it a lot lately, and it came to light even more with a conversation I had last week, actually on Sunday. Like I've gotten away from being human feelings, human emotions. Like I've gotten so deep into what we're doing and always thinking about future and making sure this is right, making sure that I've gotten away from like a lot of the human side, relationships and going out and being around people, communicating, like, what I mean? It's if it's not business, it's not extropian, it's not, I've like I don't do I really need it, but I do. I need human interaction. I need to get out and be human, feel something again. It's like I've gotten very robotic. You know what I mean? I've gotten very almost like just super rigid. You know what I mean? I really need to get back out and start communicating and being around and feel something again.
Yeah, and I mean, I
Um,
think it's one thing to kind of trim the fat, so to speak, like of your life and like not indulging and not, not just saying yes blindly to everything that you get invited to, that kind of thing. Like
hmm
that that's not necessarily the best way to live, but I do think there is something to be said of, like, hey, like even the busiest people need time to
Yeah.
do stuff, and especially if you want to have strong, you know, relationships with family and friends and even
Hmm.
romantic relationships. It's like like those require attention. Like not necessarily 24/7 attention, but they require enough attention that, people don't feel like, "Oh, is this person like I haven't heard from this person in forever. They don't care about
Yeah.
me anymore." Like emotions is such a tricky thing because it's something that you constantly have to be aware of and, work at. So,
Yeah.
but I do think that aligned, you wanting to be more present and, more uh like oriented with your family and your friends aligns with what you just said about um also like not being a robot. I think that kind of
Hmm.
meshes well together.
And yeah, I do. I tell you all the time about my parents and helping them out and doing things with family, my nephews, etc. So I do those things, but it's like not just doing tasks or help, keep helping. Obviously, thank God I'm able to help with situations and be there for them. But enjoying life, be enjoying their presence, enjoying do things. You know what I mean? Get out and go out and in nature with them, whatever. You know what I mean? Doing more of that type of stuff instead of because the robotic side too is like being there for them, but also doing a fake robot, but um doing tasks and stuff like that isn't necessarily being just present and being more open with them and things like that.
It's like it's being there physically, but not necessarily being there emotionally.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. You're right. 100%. Um, but yeah, I think we're on the same page. Like for our personal lives, just being the best versions of ourselves and holding ourselves accountable. And we kind of have this list. I always talk about going back and checking off what we did and what we didn't do. Like let's stop bullshitting and actually do these this year because I feel like some of them we probably did last year, but a lot of them we just let slip through the cracks.
Yeah, I don't remember everything from last year, but I definitely don't think I did most of them. I think one of them was read more, and I think I read less. I don't know how that's possible, but
That
um,
happened with me too, and I've got to get better. And yeah, it's just it is what it is. But yeah, I don't know.
but
We just gotta make these things happen.
yeah, but I think one of the things that's frustrating with like the new year every year is like, okay, everyone has grandiose visions of what they want their new year to be, right? And it's like
Hmm.
usually it's like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym more. I'm gonna make more money. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And it's like I think while you should set high expectations for yourself, you should also make sure that you're
Realistic.
maintaining a sense of realism with it,
Yeah.
where it's like you're setting goals for yourself that you're actually going to accomplish, not saying all these things that you want to do, but deep down that you're like, oh yeah, I'm not going to actually do that. It makes me feel good saying that I want to do it. It's like, no, like make sure you're doing like saying things that you actually want to accomplish, that will make you like either make you happy or, you know, fill holes in your life that you currently are experiencing. Because that's what's going to like if it's something that will provide you gratitude or like actually solve something that you're dealing with, then that's something that will stick more so than like just the empty resolutions of, you know, that align with what society typically wants.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. And I was looking for this post via this Instagram, but it broke it down really well. It's like it broke it down like how most people's mentalities work. It's like January, December 31st, you're saying you're going to do X, Y, Z. By this date in January, you've, kind of stopped going to the gym as much. And then next thing you know, by this date, you've gone cut back. It went through a sequence of events that typically happens. And I'm like going through each one. I'm like, yep, 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 happened before. Yep, yep. And I think that's most people, you know what I mean? It's like, that's why I always try and do things before New Year, so it's not like a resolution. It's just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna start because you can really start any of these things any time of the year. Um, but it's like just following through with it. So that's the thing. We just got to follow through, and I get tired of like repeating. every year the same thing every week, repeating I'm gonna do, and then you don't do it. It's just it's very disheartening, and then it starts to make you feel bad. It plays itself out as a snowball effect in your life that you're just like, maybe you never give it up. A lot of people don't, but a lot of times it's just a stupid cycle that you go through, and I'm tired of the cycle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel you.
So outside of that, getting more into like professional CEO of Extropian, kind of, and maybe even talk about some of your other endeavors. What is your goals as from a professional standpoint?
Um, I mean, I'd like to be. Well, I mean, one definite thing is to be more efficient with my time.
Yeah.
You know, I think one thing I realized over the course of this year is that my time, while it may not always seem it, is actually very valuable. So,
Mm,
um, like making sure that, okay, if I'm spending time doing something, that it's actually producing something or actually leading to something, like don't just waste your time doing nonsensical tasks for no reason. Like
yeah.
do tasks that are actively improving, whether it's improving the companies that I work for or improving my efficiency or my capabilities as, COO or as whatever other roles I'm currently doing. I think that's kind of what I want to spend my time doing is those tasks that are constantly, aligning with my overall goal of becoming a better version of myself. You know, that same thing kind of applies in professionally. It's, how can I do my job better, more efficiently? Making sure that I'm uh allocating my time right, making sure that I'm, you know, providing as much assistance as I can. One thing that I really don't like in most work environments that I've seen is like people who are like, "Oh, I have these roles. And once I've done these roles, I don't need to do anything else." It's
Yeah.
like, "No. Any role that you have anywhere,
Hmm.
there's people that are next to you or people around you that can probably use help. So if you finish quickly, you're as a to be a good, whether it's colleague or boss or whatever, you once your stuff is done, your next question shouldn't be, "Oh, cool, I have all this free time now." It should be, "Well, what else can I do? Can I help out someone else or can I get started on something earlier than I normally would so that I,
Hmm.
can get ahead of things." Like that to me is something that I'd like to be a little bit better at is, while I'm doing my own thing, also making sure that if anyone else needs assistance that I'm there to help. And if there's other things that I can be doing that is, helping the end goal to do those and not just, take advantage of extra time and say, "Oh, cool. I have this free time now that I am just going to waste, on social media or by, doing whatever." Like I'd like to just use my time appropriately, I think is the best way to put it.
No, I 1,000% agree with you because I feel like I've wasted a lot. 2024, I wasted a lot of time, and I think a lot of the time was wasted, um, not you know not wanting to be uncomfortable, and that's something I want to get better. There's uncomfortable conversations, uncomfortable, meetings, uncomfortable reaching out to people. You know what I mean? Uncomfortable just situations in general. And so what happens is you get uncomfortable, and it's like, oh, let me get back to the comfort zone and scroll the latest Arsenal news or Dolphins for you or whatever. You know what I mean? Or it's just going on social media to kind of like get away from thinking about that hard task that you're kind of like delaying because it's
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
At the end of the day, it's procrastination
Yes.
and it like procrastination is I mean, I don't know about everyone, but it's something that I feel like a large majority of people are constantly struggling with, and
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I know I need to do this, but do I need to do it yet? That's the question that goes
yeah.
through people's minds, and it's like, no, I don't need to do it yet. I can wait, and it's just such a horrible way to end up behind because it's like you had the time to do it, or you had the thought of, oh, this is something that I need to do, and you
Hmm.
just didn't want to do it, so you put it off, and it almost always ends up being worse when you have to rush through it, or you have to kind of like move other things around so you can prioritize this thing that you should have done sooner. Like
Yeah,
it's just like do it when you're supposed to do it, or do it when you like actually think about it, and then you know you won't ever be in that situation where you're like, oh, I'm so rushed, or I'm so you know screwed because I have this deadline that I might not hit now.
yeah. That's exactly what I was. I think I was about to say this next was that I just want to attack things as they come in. Like you kind of start delaying them, and like you said, you start getting to the point where like, oh, this doesn't necessarily need to be done now. In our case, and this is another. I'm going back to a conversation I had with Ron because that was one of the biggest things. We can not do anything. You know what I mean? A lot of times, what we're doing.
Yeah,
Um, and it doesn't show up. But it doesn't show up right away is the problem. Whereas like you have your 9 to 5 job site. Say I don't know if you've seen Office Space before. The TPS reports. You get the damn TPS report done, and it's like you're able to move on. Well, what we're doing, we can delay, and it doesn't feel like it hurts immediately, but in the long term, it does when you look back and reflect on the year you had,
yeah.
and where you want to be. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, I definitely agree. And, eventually it also hurts, the bank accounts and like it
It
comes
it
up
trickle
later. It's
down.
like you're not thinking about it like right now because the things you have to worry about aren't due until, 6 months from now. But 6 months from now, you're like, oh shit, I did nothing. And all those bills are coming in and we don't have, we're not where we're supposed to be. And,
It's a
so
trickle
it's,
down effect.
yeah. And so I definitely agree. I think that's kind of one of the biggest things professionally that I'm like, yeah, yeah, I like what you said, attacking it and like making sure that nothing's coming up on you. You're hitting it early enough that it's like, okay, I didn't push it out of the way. I attacked it, I completed it. Now I'm free to do other things, or I'm free to, get started on things earlier, and just kind of building that foundation early in the
Yeah.
year as opposed to like always playing catch up.
It's kind of like that book I read a while ago, Slight Edge. It's like the little things you do now, like it doesn't seem big, but the little things you do now really advance you. Those little things begin to stack up and become bigger things. You know what I mean? They contribute to bigger things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, man, I just say an email comes in, I'm just like, I don't really want to respond to this person. I don't have the answer right away. Come up with the damn answer and just get the email sent back to them. You know what I mean? Like no dilly dallying or wait until I feel like I've have the exact right thing to say. Start formulating in my mind the right thing to say and just get the damn email out because that person can then do what they need to do and it can progress us. Instead of sitting back and waiting a little bit and then next thing you know that person's on vacation. It's just it becomes like it's a snowball effect that your procrastination makes them procrastinate. It's just I really want to get away from that, and I think doing that, if we all do that and not really delay these things, like the at the end of the year we'll be like, holy shit, look where we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something about that? I don't know.
No, no, no. I was
Okay.
gonna ask, if there was anything else that from your like goals for you professionally for the
Yeah, yeah.
year.
I'll run through them quickly because I know we're getting close to wrapping up. Um, I just mentioned handling the toughest tasks up front, just knocking them out, attack them as they come in. Not waiting on them. Just being a better leader overall. Um, I want to be a stronger leader, a better leader. I want, and not saying you guys don't trust me, but I want to really gain your trust. Even more if you don't trust me, hopefully gain it in general. in general if you don't trust me. But just being a better leader and somebody that you guys can look to more for like I maybe inspiration or maybe just belief, you know what I mean? And I think that comes with doing all the things that we mentioned before. Because we talked about like it feels like we got ADD, right? Like sometimes it's hard to sit at this laptop or at your desk and do things because it's like so many distractions, or you get up, or next thing you know, I got to go to the bathroom, or I want to look out the window. Like I really need to stop doing that and just sit and knock these things out.
It it almost seems like nowadays, like everyone has a little bit of like ADHD,
Yeah.
or like maybe more than a little bit, because it's like and it could be possibly due to society as well. Like society is constantly providing different distractions and
Oh yeah.
different, things popping up that are like, oh, look at this, look at this. So, but yeah, no, I definitely is something that um everyone, I think a lot more people are dealing with than like is necessarily presented.
Yeah, sometimes I'll walk. Well, you been to my house. Sometimes I'll walk past the office, and I'm like, I look in, see the laptop, and it's almost like, oh, there's that. It's like going to the principal's office sometimes, like or you see something you don't want to sit. That chair, the chair can make you feel like, oh man, I don't want to sit in this chair today because it's all like delaying tactics. It's like um, it's just stupid. Just sit down in the damn chair, get the work done, feel better about it because at the end of the day when you do it you feel better, you feel more accomplished, you feel like damn I did what I needed to do instead of delaying it and then feeling bad, and it's a trickle effect. And I may start eating bad. I'm like, well, I didn't do work. Well, do I need to go to the gym? Like I didn't follow through with my commitment to myself is what it really is. When you
Yeah.
don't commit to yourself, then you know all those commitments fall to the wayside really. So better leader, and through these actions, being a better leader. I really want to get better at really talking about us, talking about what we're doing, talking about our impact. So being, more of a subject matter expert on all facets of our business, from the technical side to, because I can preach the vision, but being more of a subject matter expert for just the company overall, our technology and what we do, and the experience we want people to have doing that, and verbatim, because we have so many different facets of our technology and how important it is and what it can, but just really being concise and hard hitting with what I say, so people are just like, oh shit, I get it, man, that sounds wild. There's been so many variations of what we do when I talk to people because we have a very versatile product, and it's very industry versatile as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
uh Sorry, I don't know if you had anything. I
No, no,
was
no,
going
no. Go ahead.
um building my business acumen that comes to reading, through networking, through being around people. I really want to build my network, our network. I want to bring some heavy hitters, and like from an advisement standpoint, people that potential clients, influencers, etc. Bring in some, I don't want to diminish what we're doing. I don't want to diminish my abilities. I don't want to belittle what we have. Like I think what we have is so impactful and so just incredible from a technological and what it can do in the future standpoint. We should be targeting heavy hitters, and not shying away from having big conversations with big people or medium size anybody. You know what I mean? Like get out there, network, talk about us, talk about my, build my brand, talk about what we're doing, be proud of it, be excited about it. Don't let kind of like the unknowns kind of like kind of hamper me and delay me from talking and really evangelizing our technology and what we're out to do, the reason why we're doing this. And just build more relationships, just building strong relationships, going out, like I said, talking about us, evangelizing, finding other people to be prophets for Extropian, etc. Because we have a really influential product, and really we have a lot to give. So why not talk about it? Why not start preaching about it? Why not get out there and hit the ground and let people know, like sing it from the mountaintops? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Um, as far as Extropian, we'll kind of close out with this. This is the part every year where I'm like, okay, by the end of the year, We should not be coming back to this conversation. And that's even more so now. I'm just like, man, no more, no more. Like, no more saying what we're doing here. What within reason. No more saying what we're doing here and not following through by the end of this year. It's enough. We got to do this. It's done. Like, let's knock it out. We have the people in place. I think we have a majority of what we need to just do what we're saying here. So, um, no pressure. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Extropian by the end of 2025?
You know, I think for me, there's one thing that we need, and it's to get this product to the point where it can be on the market and
Yeah.
commercialize our product. I think that is the number one goal in my mind. And yes, there's some things, financially getting investment and stuff like that that will
Hmm.
play into that, obviously. But getting our product into the market, it's been too long, and it's been, we've done too much work to get it to where it is now
Hmm.
for it to not be, out there and not being used. Like it's ready. I mean, I don't want to say it's ready specifically, but it's at the point where we have a realistic plan to get this thing on the shelves in people's hands, seeing people using this product within the next 12 months. And I think that's amazing, and it's super exciting, and it's something that ultimately it's like we have that ready. It's just, getting that to action and um getting it out there, because whenever we tell people about the company, or at least whenever I tell people about the company, they're like, wow, that's so cool. Like, that's such an awesome idea. Like, that's going to be so impactful, or it could be used for that. It could be used for that. And it's
Hmm.
every single time you tell people about our product, they they are like, wow, that's really, really awesome. Like, where, like, how do I get one? Or where,
Yeah,
like,
it's frustrating.
where is, and it's like, I want to be able to say by the end of 2025, you can get it here. Or like,
Slap with it.
yeah, or like, yeah, to the point where like I have one, I could be like, oh yeah, here you go. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
and that I think to me is like, that's not necessarily our end goal of the company. Obviously, we have very high goals for the company and where we see it going and how big we see it getting and everything like that. But that is the first step, really, to being a successful company, is actually getting started. And it's like, that's the step that will feel like, wow, we act like, obviously we've started. It's not like we haven't done anything, but that's the step where it really feels like, wow, like you're you're at a point now where you're making money, where people are supporting you and
Hmm.
your product. That I think feels like the first step of, wow, we kind of made it.
Yeah, yeah. So there's two schools of thought. Like, there's the person that says the experience is mostly experienced people that say, "Oh, you're too early to do something, right? Like, don't do that because you're going to leave a bad impression in the minds of your users." Then there's the other person that says, "You have enough. Just get it out there. It doesn't have to be the most beautiful, pretty thing ever, and you'll get feedback and build from there." You know what I mean? I want to be kind of in the middle there. Like, I don't want to put out crap, but I want to have something. And I think what we have now is enough. You know what I mean? It's enough to, like, and we kind of are doing this. It's enough to put it in people's hands and have them try it and, see the value in it. I think our story is where it needs to be. And this is on me, one of my goals, to really get that story in a place that lines up with the technology and people are able to like fully digest it and be like, oh my God, like, okay, I see it now, but yeah, I see, down the road. Because I think people all the time will tell us like, oh, I see how that can be used. I see how that's different from what's out there. But getting them to see the future and what it can be, I don't think we have as many of those conversations as we do about the immediate and what it can do. Because we can really take this out really, really far. Like, how my mind works and where I go off the deep end sometimes. But
100%.
there's that saying that perfection is the enemy of progress, and that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to delay progress and getting this thing across the line because we're perfecting, perfecting, perfecting. Um, but I think the plan we have in place now will allow us to move forward. It's not like we're trying to be perfect. It's what we need to get the job done and to build to scale out over time.
100%. Definitely agree. And yeah, I mean that's why, like that's why I'm so excited to be where we are, and like
Hmm.
to have seen everything that's gone on, not only this past year but the past, you know, entire time that I've been working with you. And so it's like, yeah, just seeing other people really like understand and accept that would be like, wow, okay, you know, we're there now. So,
Yeah, not. I know we're wrapping up. I've been watching CES. Every year CES, I'm like all in it. But seeing so many of these people's visions, seeing them articulate it well, seeing people understand it, grasp it. Some of the things are just out there, so some people are probably like, "Oh yeah, that's great," but actually seeing it come to life and seeing them, it's an amazing feeling. I'm ready to have that feeling. All of us to have that feeling. I'm ready for people to acknowledge what we've done and see how it can benefit them, improve their lives. And just, I want that this year. Like I've had enough of the talking to people and like, oh, okay, I get it. So when's it coming out? Like you're saying, and or that makes sense, but get it into people's hands, man. Like I want to wear it. I want to have our logo on us and wear it and have it on my body and people be like, what's that? You know what I mean? And like you take it off, put it on them type of thing. And oh my God, you know what I mean?
yeah.
That is when, like you said, we kind of made it. In my opinion, that's kind of like it's tangible at that time, and people are like people can kind of grasp it a lot more, and that's when it's more real. You know what I mean?
Yep, 100%.
So that's the goal this year, man. Get it on fucking people and get it on ourselves. Get it on anybody who, because at the end of the day, this is going to be a community based type of thing where we all deliver and we bring something to the table for this product, for the platform, for the analytics that we provide.
Yeah, no. I mean, you hit the nail on the head for sure. Um, was that your goal or did you have another goal?
That's pretty much it. And finalizing our design, packaging, marketing, broader visibility, messaging, clear, concise, married to the vision. A sales plan, go to market is fully fleshed out. Like all of those things tie into what we're describing. So I think that's, wrapping that all up into one neat bow. So yeah, it's always therapeutic. Anything else you wanted to add? Any other thoughts? Anything you want to say to the audience going into 2025?
No, I mean, just, uh, like Ricky mentioned earlier, one of our expectations for this upcoming year is for this podcast to be a little bit different, you
Hmm.
know, be a little bit more transparent, more day in the life type stuff, more clarity about what we're doing, where we're at, less. I mean, obviously we can still have episodes where we talk about our interests and things like that, but a little bit less fluff, a little bit more substance, I think. So,
Yeah.
um, if you liked the fluff, there will still be some of it. We're not getting rid of all of it, but um, ultimately the goal of this podcast when we first started it was to grow the following of Extropian and what we believe in, and
Hmm.
what we hope that our product will uh, provide and emulate to people. And so we want this podcast to reflect those same visions and stuff. So follow, subscribe, like, whatever else there is to do on social media.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Sean. Yeah, just get to know Extropian. That's the goal of the podcast in 2025. Get and us in our roles in Extropian, like, and it'll be the personal side still, but just get to know us, the product, and the power that is our technology. So with that being said, we wish you guys a great 2025. I hope you guys throw some big things out in the air that you guys go after and that you try to achieve. We're definitely going to do so and stick to your words, stick to your guns. Just make things happen. And number one, self belief and confidence. That's what you should exude. And like I said, what we want to do with Extropian, you're doing something amazing. Shout from the mountaintops. Let people know. Don't keep it to yourself. if you have something of value, let the world let your light shine and let it kind of shine throughout the world, which is our goal for 2025. So with that being said, we wish you guys a happy 25. Blessings, health, peace. And with that, we'd like to say thank you guys for viewership. And
Thank
we'll
you.
catch you on the next one. Peace.